Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and welcome back to FM Youth Factory. This is episode 15. I'm excited for this, but it's also going to be brief. We are in the extra preliminary round of the FA Cup. It is the world's greatest domestic cup tournament. Hands down, it has the highest reputation by far of any of them. And I'm so excited to be a participant in this, because this is where dreams come true. This is where minnows beat giants. No giant killing today. It's the extra preliminary round. This team, Coventry, Sphinx, they're in the same level we are. So it should be comprehensive. It should be comfortable. And as soon as it is, we will move on, because it's the later rounds that matter. But this is special because it's our first ever trip to the FA Cup. I'm so excited to be an entrant. We're in the 9th tier. They're in the 9th tier too. So, it's nothing special yet. The special part is it's us. It's in the FA Cup. We're playing in the FA Cup. I'm so excited. But in terms of the opposition, it's such a low level that this should be happening very quickly, very easily. Bick gets us on the board. We haven't even played 10 minutes. Mortland, one change to the side, gets the start today, and he's in place of Brooks, who of course is now just a lone E on the club. This is getting him some experience. But Gordon, great assist there, and this is something we are going to see over and over again, I think, this season. As the team has gelled, as the team has gotten better, we are doing things that we didn't see of our team in previous seasons. We are seeing better opposition as we've climbed into this 9th tier, but we are seeing some fantastic quality of play from our team. Mortland, another long ball over the top for Jones. That one's blocked out for the corner kick. We've only played 12 minutes. How early can we put this game away? That one's cleared out for the header. 72% of possession early on in this one. Here is Gordon again. He's going to lay it off for Redknapp. Finds Atkins inside. Atkins turns and blasts that one to no man's land. But 5 attempts already in 20 minutes. 3 on target. They've got their first attempt on goal. Hasn't been all us. Jones. Can he beat his man? No. He's on a yellow. But he does quickly take it from him, and Trainer gets the free header. Good save. Schmizek lays it off deep. Good to Farah. Mortland, that is. McFadden finds Jones. Jones! Ooh, brought down in the box. Oh, it is a call. I thought it was a corner kick. My, oh my. And Trainer makes it 2. That will make this one no longer in doubt. We've only played a half an hour. There's a full hour to go. You and I both know it's going to be a done deal. Maybe I'll skip straight to just some goal highlights for the remainder, assuming there are some the rest of the way. But we are going to have to do it without Ryan Gordon, who has been the dominant force, the best player on the pitch. Picks up an injury. Having used all 5 substitutions, we've pushed all the way to the final 15 minutes, and a through ball for Bick where he just beats his man Shepard. It looks like he kind of muscles him off right there at the end, and Shepard tries to go to ground to stop that play. Can't, and Bick slots it past the keeper. Just 3-0. Not dominant, really, in any fashion. Fish looked well offside. But as much as we have been on the front foot, they haven't done anything. I mean, they have not added a second shot to this match. But our attack, as I've made some substitutions, has gotten a little weaker. So here's the threat of what could still come. Last time, we started to receive a ton of offers. At the very beginning of the transfer season, we had more than one agreed to for more than one player. But we only ended up, to this point, losing a single player. There is still a month to go in the transfer season as Fish looks to make it 4. Can't convert. But there is the possibility of more players leaving. Brooks has left, but we were able to get him loaned back for the year, so we will still have Brooks for this year, but then he'll be leaving at the end of the season. So for now, the team is intact with the prospect of one leaving. Can we keep it at that, or will the multitude of offers continue the exodus over the next month, even though the season is now underway? Lanahan Penrice, the half-brother of our goalkeeper, gets his first ever appearance, comes off the bench, and scores. It's 4-0. It's also just about the final kick of the game, as time is now up. A little bit of extra time for the goal and the reset, the stoppage there, but this should just about do it as Burton kicks long. We clear, Trainer recovers, another long ball for Bick, another attempt. Bick having a little more of a quiet game than he normally does, but he did get that nice goal to make it 3. 28-2, the final on attempts. Those two did not even amass any XG. A 0.00. We, right about what we should have had. 4 goals, 4.18 XG. We move deeper into the competition. We will not be looking at the league anytime soon, besides just little updates here and there on how we're performing. But we should be pulling away and comfortable, though I do predict we'll lose more than we lost last season. But we should still be many games ahead of second place in the league, even if we do lose a couple players along the way. Our second round of the FA Cup is not the second round. We were in the extra preliminary round. Now we played the preliminary round. Then you have the qualifying rounds, and then you have the tournament proper. Yeah, it's strange why they do that. Whatever. 5-0. And this was the first time in our team's history. You got to remember, we only had a single cup competition last year, nothing in the 2 seasons prior when we were down in the 11th tier. And last year, that competition was only at our level. This year we have 4 competitions. We have varying levels. The FA Cup in particular will eventually include every single level of the English pyramid. Eventually. We're in the preliminary round. We are far from the likes of Liverpool or Arsenal being our potential opposition. But Chatham Town, hey, they are a tier above. This was our first time going up against 8th tier opposition. We had faced 9th tier opposition for just the first time in the last couple of weeks, and have proven to be, too strong for that. But it looks like we're too strong also for the 8th tier. Here's the thing, though. 2 things, actually. 1, it's early days. Very early days. It could be nothing, but they are second in their particular league. But 2, possession was not 70% plus. It's down to 66. That's still a strong number, but tactically how we play, we should be seeing 55 to 60 pretty normally anyway. But our quality over others, okay, fine. But shots was 20 to 6. XG certainly favored us, but they did amass some XG, and they did have 6 attempts on goal. It is telling that that's a thing. And one more thing that's going to stand out, as we're going to look at the highlights here in just a second. 2 penalties. That's 1.6 of that 3.3 XG that we picked up. First one, 4 minutes in, and we pick up a penalty already. So as much as the quality was closer together, they did seem to have trouble defending our forwards in the heat of the moment, in the box, as, Trainer steps up a second time for a second penalty converted. That at the half-hour mark. Here's Jones, free kick. Again, showing the trouble of their defense. They were more organized. They seemed to intercept better. They kept possession away from us a little bit. They held the ball a little bit better than some of our opposition. That was a free kick that went crazy close, and Bick just pounces on the rebound where they did not react. And that's our 5 goals. 4 of those around set pieces. As this series goes on, I'm going to have the smallest scouting team imaginable. Realistically, I should only need 2. One, to keep an eye on the next opposition, so we do get scouting reports regarding opposition as we progress. At this tier, really doesn't matter, but it's still nice to know. As we get to higher levels, we certainly will need those scouting reports. But other than that, all I need to do is keep an eye on my former players, which right now numbers at 2 and, eventually 3 as things stand. We've still got a little over a week, actually maybe 2 left in this transfer window for those higher levels. Of course, we don't have the transfer window, but McLaren is somebody that I've been waiting on a scouting report now for months and just not getting it. But one thing I am getting is the pros cons portion, current ability, and whatever. He seems to be the best player at Sheffield United right now and is already seen as a good Premier League player. That's how much he has grown. Remember, he had that insane potential, so it does not surprise me at all that a quality club like Sheffield United, with their training facilities and their coaching staff, would be able to see the 18-year-old who's getting regular first team game time is going to improve rapidly and see out his world-class potential that he has. He, of course, by far is the best player we've had at our team. So he is absolutely the one to keep an eye on, he's going to be capable of so much more. It's got to be just a matter of time, maybe January, maybe before the end of this window, that he becomes the first player sold off to a much bigger team at 18, at this good, ready to step into a Premier League side immediately. There's got to be teams coming in and offering money that Sheffield United, as much as they're going to want to hang on to a player like this, as he can absolutely push them to another level. And for them, obviously, another level means Premier League. So they can make a ton of money off of reaching the Premier League. He's already seen as a star player for them. Not star player for us, star player for them. And fan opinion is very popular. I mean, he is beloved for a reason. But his value, no way it is still 18 million. But we can't get an updated scouting report. I mean, I need to check on my scouts and see what I can do about actually making that happen, because he's on our short list, and we have absolutely requested a scouting report. Just having looked at it, I think the reason why we are not getting updates, even though it's assigned, is that they are outside of our scouting range, which is not something that I'd actually looked into recently. Our scouting range is set up as county leagues. That's our current level. Actually, it makes total sense to me to be keeping that as our range. Why would we need to be scouting around us, right? But we need to scout our division to know the opposition. So we will keep that one set, which is essentially at a minimum. But there's no reason to bump ourselves up to UK and Ireland when we are on a transfer ban and developing internally. The FA Cup is so big that all the phases that we go through, the competition stages, don't even fit onto the screen. And I have a rather large one that should easily fit it. But here, it's only missing one. Here are the competition stages, which of course we picked up with the extra preliminary round. We have now surpassed the preliminary round, and we will finally enter the first qualifying round. They want us to make the first round proper. So we've got first, second, third, and fourth qualifying rounds, which means we have 4 more matches to win to achieve our goal. And that's got to be putting us pretty high up. First round, second round, third round, that's where the Premier League enters. So it's a long time before we get there. Fourth round, fifth round, quarterfinal, semifinal, and then of course the FA Cup final. That is a lot of games for a team this low. I would almost love to run a quick experiment one of these days with a super team down starting at the extra preliminary round and see if they can actually win all the way through. 14 matches, 14 wins necessary to start in the extra preliminary round and win the FA Cup. That would be the ultra achievement, wouldn't it? Ready to kick off the FA Vase. This is the one that I'm interested in because they say we're capable of winning. But you can already see, this is not just a 9th tier competition. This is going to go up that table a bit, up that pyramid a bit. But how far does it go up the pyramid? I'm curious to find out. So we enter in the first qualifying round tomorrow. I'll show you highlights. Second qualifying round, we'll definitely have a bunch of additional teams because we're going to go from 348 to 358 in that second round. So half of those winners plus an equal size. So you would think, another whole tier above us. From there, you'd have, 174-ish. So another 30 or so teams added in the first round. And then we go to 128. So once again in the second round, there are going to be additional. So we're looking at least 3 tiers up. But then you have the nice round numbers from there that take you to your championship. It looks like it ends at the National League. I thought the FA Trophy was the one that does that. Or maybe this has just been renamed. Are we really that good that they expect us to beat everyone in the National League? Again, not our most dominant performance by any stretch of the imagination. We have a corner kick. It's cleared. Brooks finds Quintafera, who's trying to retreat. That's our center back trying to retreat back to get in the defense. But because we recover the ball, he finds himself on the outside of the box and uses his foot to score. McFadden with a terrible giveaway here. McFadden has been our weakest on the defense. The fullback, just not quality, but fullback is probably my weakest position right now. Defensive mid was, but fullback has, I think, eclipsed that. McFadden specifically is not quality, and my backups at fullback are even worse. At that point, it's 2-1. We're going to get another chance here. 3 guys all behind their defense. The ball is actually played behind Bick. Gordon, I think, probably actually doing the right thing there because the keeper was in position to fall on it if the ball's any further forward. By playing it behind Bick a little bit and without even much power to it anyway, it takes the keeper out of it. The defense is already out of it. And Bick, who is just worried about whether he's onside or not, does have to make a bit of a agility check on that one, but he does pass the agility check and pirouettes and sweeps that ball into the back of the net to put the game away 3-1. But XG-wise, you can see they were very much in it. Possession, okay, fine, 70-30. I mean, it's not a massive victory, and that's the thing. We are starting to find it a little bit tougher. That last goal also came after a red card. By that point, it was only 2-1, so it's not like we dominated by any stretch of the imagination here. I think we are going to see some closer results. We're still going to see the occasional massive blowouts in our favor, but I think we are going to start seeing a lot closer results. We're supposed to win this competition. That was literally the first round, and we were already facing a challenge. Terrible news, folks! No, I'm joking. Absolutely not terrible news. One, we're into that September, so there's only a couple days left. Presumably 2 days left on the transfer window as it's Thursday midnight, so Friday night is probably the transfer window deadline for the upper divisions. But we had a streak going dating into last season, something like 6 or 7 straight matches, league matches, without giving up a goal. Perfect clean sheets. Again. The streak is over. We finally gave up a goal in league. We actually also only have a 2-point lead at this point, as 2 teams have remained perfect this season, or at least without having taken any losses. In fact, there are 5 teams left in the entire league that are still on a chance to go the season undefeated. Confirmation of the transfer window roundup for those bigger clubs. With that transfer window closed, the mass exodus did not happen. Just 1 player. Now, of course, there's still January, and both of the last 2 players that we lost did come as January losses. I'm very surprised with how the summer started versus how it finished, because in the first week and a half, 2 weeks of the transfer window, at the beginning of summer, offer after offer came in, and many of them were starting to inch close to exceeding the value of players. And then they just stopped. The way it was going, and the way it normally goes, I strongly figured that we were on path to lose quite a few guys. Really surprised we only lost one. We'll see what happens in January if more are to be lost. But with that, with at least partial season, with the full team intact, I think it's just inevitable. It's just a matter of time that we cruise through the league itself, and once again a reason to focus on other competitions. Motivating, we have picked up 1 point. It's gone from a 3 to a 4. I think they were both at 3s before. Determination, 13. Was it at a 12 previously? I think it was a 13. Working with youngsters has improved. It's up to a 6 now, 5 before. So we did pick up a point or two over the last handful of months, but I'm still quite bad as manager. I'm hoping now that we're down to like 3 training categories that we're going to start to see some improvement in coaching, because we're literally worse than we started. We were at a 3. It's a 2. How's the club looking these days? Reputation? 675 from a 1. Remember those lower tier teams? They were 300. I'm not sure what we're at now 9th tier wise. They start at 500, 600. Are they higher? You know, it's got to be more than that 300 that the others had. Current club attendance numbers also 1,134. So wouldn't be a bad idea to add a couple hundred more seats. Before, we were struggling to quite fill out the stadium. We were getting about 950, 960 a match. We're easily getting that 1,000 now. Till I get a complete scouting report, I don't want to venture too far into this next step. Something I'm looking at. I want to know what the current estimated value for Ethan McLaren is. The reason why is we actually have an option, a possibility, the sell-on clause, which is only at 30% for him. Remember, there was a discussion in the comment section below afterward where we had the minimum security and just how far to take it. Can I negotiate at all, or do I just simply have to accept an offer once given? We decided that limited negotiation can take place. You don't want to mess up the deal, especially because I would do that on purpose. I don't want to lose these players, especially for the pennies that we lose them for. I want to see them help us reach, the championship, Premier League, and beyond. So that first deal, I did not negotiate anything, but it does have a 30% transfer fee sell-on clause. However, I have the potential of not waiting. Sheffield United, they're playing McLaren on a regular basis. I'm expecting him to be sold at some point, but right now he's got a long-term contract, so I can see why maybe they've opted not to, and they know that his value is just going to keep going up and up and up. But anyway, they aren't selling him right now. It could be 2 more years before he's sold based on the contract that he's on. That's a distinct possibility. If that's the case, then it's a long time that we're going to be sitting with our hands tied waiting, because these sell-on clauses are our way to progress. Nobody's giving us quality money. It's garbage. It's the sell-on fee. It's the extra profit from them selling them later that is going to make the money for our club to see us grow. I have the option. It's been long enough with Ethan McLaren. There's a negotiated fee with Sheffield United, a clause. We could sell it right now for 4.53 million. Chances are we will receive more than that when the time comes that he is sold. They know that his value is increasing, so they are trying to get out from under the deal. It actually would help him sell faster, potentially, if they secure this deal from us now, because they know that they're going to hang on to a bigger chunk of the profit later on. 4.5 million, when we have $1 million in the bank, and it took us a long time to get there, it'd suddenly be at 5.5 million, and we could easily do a stadium increase at that point, which is what I would want to spend the money on right now. We need to secure our finances long term. They're secure right now, but when we go professional, our youth setup is going to get expensive. Maintaining profit as we get into higher divisions and pay higher salary to players, it's going to get challenging. So these fees are going to play a big role in us going forward. And the first fee, without a doubt, whichever one we collect first, this first fee is going to go directly to the stadium. At least that's my intention. And we could collect it right now. Get McLaren out from underneath us and move on. Get the stadium going. Is stadium going sooner a better option? Or do I hang on, wait it out, and get 6 or 7 million later on? 8 million, 9 million. What's the eventual fee? We're going to get 30% of the entire fee. 30 million? We're grabbing almost 10 million. And I could easily see him be worth that. The moment he was transferred, his value went to 19 million. We have not seen that change, though. That's why I'm waiting to see what happens with that scouting report. That is going to be a huge factor in whether I cash in or wait it out. We've had a lot of matches lately, especially with all these extra competitions. And for the first time, we're seeing a match load issue, which is going to lead to injuries. So, FA Cup, first qualifying round, another 8th tier opponent. I do have a few subs that are coming in. Chris Webb, Thornhill, and Lanahan Penrace. So 3 subs coming in to relieve some of that heavy match load. There's still a few that are left. These are the most fatigued guys. Let's see if we can still pull off the result with our 1.5 team. We do not pull off the result. It's a 0-0 draw. Mostly because Ollie Atkins was sent off after half an hour. So we controlled possession with one less player. We certainly outshot them, but we only managed to get 2 shots on target. We weren't getting terribly close to goal as we were playing with 10 men. And it shows in the result. So our first points dropped out of the season. We nearly see ourselves out of the FA Cup, but we will have a replay at Avonlea. With 2 subs on the replay, we do grab the result needed, and it happened late. It was still goalless after more than an hour played. 76th minute, Schmizek, probably a corner kick. We'll see the highlights in a second. And then Tom Fish seals it in the 93rd minute to really put it away, but otherwise it was awfully close. And I only had 2 subs in, so it wasn't like we were suddenly down. This is an 8th tier side. They're only a division above us is all, and we struggled. We struggled quite a bit. I'm not sure how we're supposed to get to the first round when that was just the first qualifying round. Free kick, dangerous spot for Jones when Schmizek gets that goal there in the 76th minute. Poor defending on that occasion, but they really did stay in this game. I mean, they were a huge part of it. Great long ball over the top for Jones as they were trying to cut out the passing lane. Jones, great job cutting in, and Fish gets that goal, who had subbed on by that point. I don't think he was one of the 2 that I selected to start. But if we found that one difficult, the next one should be that much more difficult. Vanarama National League South side, Welling United, is our opponent for the next round. First big test, 7th tier coming in. I think this is about where our limitations are. I think right now we are probably about a 6th or 7th tier side, meaning maybe we can beat some of them, maybe we can lose to some of them. I mean, we just had a pretty hefty challenge brought on by an 8th tier side. I think most 8th tier sides we're going to beat comfortably. Most 9th tier sides, all 9th tier sides, we should be beating comfortably most of the time. But it's around that 6th or 7th tier where I think we stand right now. McDonald on loan at Leyton Orient, League 2, is a part-time player for them. He's considered good for National League level. And he was one of our best players when he left. He was our, 3rd best player when he left at the end of the last season. So we've got a few guys that are good or better than some of the players they have, but not by much. And then we have, another half a team that's probably this level or below. Meaning we're a little bit mixed right now. It's not like we have 11 guys that are outstanding out there. There's a pretty big range in our players. We have a 98 current ability, meaning halfway there between total beginner and world's best player. We have starters that are 58, right? That's almost half the quality. 3/5 the quality of our best players, of Schmizek, who's done so much for us. So we do have a range, and our bench drops off for the most part even further, other than Tomfish, who's pretty okay and has made 5 appearances off the bench. That was his first goal, by the way. Ashley Jones continuing to do great things. 10 goals, 10 assists. Trainer, 13 goals, 3 assists. Quite a few penalties. Bick, just 8 goals. However, Bick, I think I've done instant result on a lot of the games so far this season, so they've followed my tactics. But when I have gone on vacation for the maybe 3 of those 10 appearances, Bick almost certainly was playing in the attacking mid role instead of on top. They tend to swap him and Trainer. Anyway, we are making progress, but it does look like we are finding the FA Cup maybe a little challenging. I'm not quite sure we're going to make it to that first round. We could be on our way out soon. That also could mean that FA Vase, if we are getting all the way to the National League, I don't think we are going to be favorites for that one. If we're struggling with 7th or 8th tier sides, how are we going to beat 6th tier sides? Seems maybe too big of an ask. We'll find out as we progress through the season. But that is going to do it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there, and bye for now.